Delia Lopez, and I'm running for Congress in Oregon's District 3 against Earl Blumenauer. Earl Blumenauer has supported free trade that has destroyed the Mexican middle class and is destroying the American middle class. He supported every form of taxpayer welfare benefits for illegal immigrants. Obviously, someone doesn't understand the meaning of the word illegal. We Americans need to take back our country from the corporations and the illegals that are taking over and discarding our Constitution and trampling our constitutional rights. People who have no right to be here are using our housing, our medical, all of these welfare systems that were set up for our senior citizens and our disabled citizens. If we instituted the Mexican immigration policy, then people would be able to come here and travel. If we're caught working in Mexico, or if we're caught just being in Mexico without proper documentation, the first offense is 2 years in jail. The second offense is 10 years in jail. They keep saying that, well, people can come into Mexico anytime they want. That is not true. You have to have all of the proper background checks. You have to have proof of insurance. You have to have proof of financial solvency. You have to prove that you have at least $1,500 a month income coming in from somewhere outside of the country of Mexico, and forget about getting any type of government benefits while you're there. For them to be coming here and demanding housing, welfare, and work, don't get caught working illegally in Mexico, then you're in seriously deep doo-doo. Destroying the American worker. They've already destroyed most of the Mexican workers, which is why they're coming here. And that's a huge problem, not just for their nation, but for our nation.
Do you think they need to be deported? Do you think that, I mean, there have been some really virulent racist signs out here today about this being an illegal detention center. I saw a sign like that earlier, and that's not actually what it is. It's a day labor site.
I understand that, but if the people were here legally and they're producing documentation, then they should be able to be hired here, and I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with people coming into our nation illegally, getting on and working without proper documentation, without paying taxes. In 60% of the instances, my understanding is they do not pay taxes. And
that's people who are being forced across these borders.
Well, I wouldn't say they're being forced across these borders, because they also need to fight against the corruption within their government.
If you're starving to death,
just like
Lopez,
we need.
If you are starving to death, can you fight the corruption in the government? While you're starving to death, while your children don't have health care, can you fight that corruption?
I have been throughout Mexico, and I know there's starvation in Mexico, but there is starvation in the United States too. And we need to fight against the corruption in our government, and they need to fight against the corruption in their government.
But
and until we as
poor
human
and
beings,
unable to do that, are not going to be able to fight the corruption. I know that you're not having trouble feeding yourself.
Need to all fight against the corruption in our government, whether it's the $700 billion bailout or the NAFTA, the CAFTA, the corporations. Our governments on both sides of the border are screwing us over, and we are acting like sheep and doing nothing about it.
That is true, but you guys are out here trying to do something about it, which to me looks like harassing families and send money back to their families.
You haven't been out here very long while I've been here. Who have you seen me harass? I have stood here peacefully and quietly holding my son.
Well, you're standing with Oregonians for immigration reform and the Oregon Minutemen over by Mexico.
The Mexican government has fought for NAFTA. They have fought to allow all these things.
But who has the power? The United States government has the power. So why don't you attack the government instead of attacking working class people? You're trying to become the government. How is that attacking the government?
Because until we the people get up and get the crooks out of there, you know, our founding fathers said we would have the government we deserve, and right now
slaves. And so if you want to stand on a racist platform, you're not going to get out of the
My name is Delia Lopez, and you really think I'm racist?
Yes. That's what I'm getting from the fact that your literature was everywhere at the Oregonians for immigration reform.
My name is Ted. I'm the state director for the Minutemen Civil Defense Corps and a volunteer with them. We're here protesting the day labor site. We're working very hard to see that it's closed down. We feel that the job should go to American citizens. You know, regardless of what the government says, we're in a depression, and the American citizens need the jobs to those that are paying taxes to support the government. There's a lot of illegals in the country. There's over 1,000 of them in the state penitentiary that we pay $77.78 a day for. That comes up to about $25 million a year in the Oregon State Penitentiary alone. Also, their families on welfare take about half of that, so we're talking almost $40 million that's going to illegal aliens. If we were to deport them and put them back in the jails in the country they came from to serve their time, and their families would go back, we could put that money into education. We could close one of the newer penitentiaries and for 35 cents on the dollar rebuild it into the state hospital. We could move some of these people that are working as penitentiary employees over to DHS to work in the hospitals. They wouldn't have to hire 1,000 new people. So it's a vicious circle, but it all goes back to we need to stop illegal immigration into the United States of America.
Oregonians for immigration reform, and I am very much opposed to illegal immigration. I think right now that when we have not creating jobs in the United States that we need to be creating, we should be sure that Congress passes the E-Verify system and that employers have a good way of verifying employment. Right now we have one senator in the U.S. Senate who's trying to hold up the E-Verify system, so if it's all possible, everybody should contact their senators and their congressmen and make sure that the E-Verify system is in place, and it isn't just reauthorized for 5 years or 7 years, but it is permanently in place so employers know who is legally entitled to work in this country.
My name's Tom Winning. I've been protesting the day labor site since the day it opened. I've been arrested out here for peacefully blocking their driveway. I've been assaulted 4 times. I filed suit against Mayor Tom Potter and the 3 city commissioners. That's coming up next month. The end of next month, they're having a hearing to dismiss my complaints. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm glad to see the turnout today, even the people protesting us, because when the employers stop here and they see all these people gathered around with cameras, the employers just keep right on going. I've seen 2 cars pull in there all day today and pick up laborers. So what we're doing is working. You know, I appreciate all these people out here. Like I say, even the antis, because just by the fact them standing on the corner there, the employers come down the street and look at that. The employers don't stop. They don't know who they are. A bunch of them have cameras. Last thing in the world these employers want is somebody with a camera, because they don't pay taxes, they don't pay Social Security, they don't pay anything. So they don't like going in there and getting their pictures taken.
Okay, so why do you think they started this day labor center, and exactly what happens when somebody comes down here? Why did they even put this here?
Well, the reason they started the day labor center is to get these illegals off the corners. Most 75% of the people, there's nobody over there now, but 75% of the people that are usually in there are illegal. And that's from a study by UCLA and the University of Illinois in 2006. And the reason that place was open with $200,000 of taxpayer funds was to get the illegal aliens off of the street corners, because the businesses are complaining, primarily Wentworth Chevrolet. Wentworth Chevrolet have no problem relocating this place 3 blocks north and putting the problem on their neighbors just to get it away from their neighborhood. Why Potter, Saltzman, Stan, Leonard, why they funded it other than to get the people off the corners, I don't know. The fact of the matter is the people are not off the corners anymore. You look down on that corner, there's a bunch of them standing down there. You go up to 6th and Ankeny, there are just as many there as there ever were, and that was the original problem with 6th and Ankeny. It hasn't improved anything. All it's done is fatten the coffers of Vose. Vose is the one that runs this place. They've now got over $200,000 in their pocket thanks to the city of Portland. It hasn't solved the problem. The city of Portland.
What is Vose exactly?
Vose, it's
what's it stand
they
for?
call it immigrant rights nonprofit, but they don't differentiate between illegal immigrant and legal immigrant. You will never hear one of these people say illegal immigrant. You will never hear one of them say illegal alien. They will say immigrant. They don't care if they're legal or illegal.